It was a day of tributes to Madam Kwa Geok Chu, the late wife of Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, and condolences to her family. Among them is Nanyang Primary, which plans to name its library after her. Mrs. Lee's children studied there, and the school also plans to unveil a bust of her during its Founders' Day celebrations next August. At Mrs. Lee's alma mater, Methodist Girls' School, old photos were displayed in the school's heritage room as a tribute. One of the photos shows her in a play as a coolie. Students and former staff who wrote condolences messages and 80 students will bring them to the Lee family tomorrow when they attend the wake. Former staff described the late Mrs. Lee as being very intelligent as well as being highly approachable. While thousands of Singaporeans turned up to pay their final respects to Madam Kwa today, her wake is being held at y2mate, the official residence of the Prime Minister.
Singaporeans streamed in via the Orchard Road entrance from 10 on Monday morning to bid farewell to Madam Kwa Geok Chu. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and his wife, Ms. Ho Ching, and Mr. Lee's younger brother, Mr. Lee Hsien Yang, were present. Special arrangements had been made for those who had come to the istana to pay their last respects to Madam Kwa Geok Chu. Buses had been arranged to ferry them from the main istana gate to y2mate. While Madam Kwa kept a low profile, many remember her kindness, particularly those who worked in Mr. Lee's constituency, Tanjong Pagar.
I remember one event where she actually went around making sure that we are very comfortable in what we're doing, not to be afraid or bothered by the whole atmospherics where is involved.
She also was, by the way, capable of having fun. I'll never forget a visit we took to St. Petersburg, the museum, and she wanted to go and see the Great Silk Route because she had a great interest in the Silk Route. They had a wonderful collection down there. She said, that's what I want to see. So she would walk down several flights of steps to go to a particular area and say, this is what I want to see.
Singaporeans also had words of comfort from Minister Mentor Lee.
We hope that in this very difficult period, that he will continue to have strength, that he will continue to find comfort in the love and the outpouring of love for Mrs. Lee at this time.
We want him to know that the workers of Singapore, the labour movement and the people of Singapore we stand by him at the time of this great loss.
Singaporeans can continue to pay their respects on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Well, President S.R. Nathan and Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong turned up at y2mate to pay their respects to the late Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew. Both men spoke fondly of their memories of Mrs. Lee.
For Singapore President S.R. Nathan, memories of the late Kwa Geok Chu were many.
When you're traveling abroad and when they're both having a meal and you are there as an officer out in your own room, she'll call you up and ask you to share a meal with her and MM Lee. And there are many such instances that I very fondly remember.
Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong, in his condolence letter to Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, cited the many times he met Mrs. Lee at dinners. Mr. Goh said those were the times he'd catch glimpses of her brilliance and wit. He said the late Mrs. Lee was an exceptional woman who passed on excellent family values to her children. Cabinet ministers also arrived earlier in the day to pay their respects. One of the legacies that Mrs. Lee had left behind was Lee & Lee, the law firm that she co-founded in 1955. Some 100 staff members came to bid farewell, and the office will be closed on Wednesday as a mark of respect.
Mrs. Lee sort of advised me, why don't you consider taking law as a career? And she very kindly offered to take me as her article clerk. She gave me time off to attend the lectures and tutorials at the University of Singapore, and she also paid for my university and tuition fees.
The maternal instinct in Mrs. Lee was evident even during official functions.
Once My wife and I were invited to Istana for an official dinner. And when we arrived, Mrs. Lee just pulled my wife's hand and said, "Oh, let's sit down and talk about family." And that's a very strong human touch, even though it was an official dinner.
From the young to the old, members of the public continued to arrive. MP for Ang Mo Kio GRC Inderjit Singh said 700 members from his constituency will be attending the wake on Tuesday.
Minister, the